Welcome to Let Me Know How It Is, a pop culture podcast about TV, movies, comics, and all things geek. Today, we're reacting to all the news from DC Fandome 2021. I'm Zach Slater.
I'm Frank Melman.
This is Tommy Smithereens.
And I'm Clifton.
So, Fandome was Saturday. We're recording this on Sunday. Our episodes drop on Wednesday. So, we just wanted to let you guys know that in case some more information comes out or, in the meantime, just so we don't sound dumb. We just wanted to let you guys know. So, yes. We are going to kind of like build up to the big stuff. So, we're going to start with animation, which, I think certainly that some of the biggest news was the Young Justice stuff that came out of this because, I follow those guys on Twitter, Greg Weisman and Brandon Vietti and everything. I'm a big fan of the show, big fan of their work. And, I saw them leading up to this, that it was like they were tweeting out like all caps, like, you do not want to miss DC Fandome. If you're a Young Justice fan, you don't want to miss DC Fandome. And so we didn't really know like what it was going to be. Like, I assumed the trailer, right?
Yeah.
Most definitely at least, right? Just
right.
Because, we haven't seen anything about that. Like, we've been getting updates about production schedule and how many are done, but we hadn't seen anything yet. And so I was like, okay. Maybe, it's most definitely going to be a trailer. Maybe it'll be like the first episode or something like that. But then we found out that like, nope, you can watch the first 2 episodes right now on HBO Max. It's dropped. It's starting. Season 4 is off to the races.
Yep.
Yeah.
In addition to a trailer, we did get a trailer.
Right. And they did put the episode one up for free for anybody, even if you don't have HBO Max. So you could watch that on DC Fandome's website.
Okay.
And then if you do have HBO Max, you could just jump ahead and start watching your season. The first 2 episodes, 3rd episode comes Thursday.
Yep. So that was a big surprise. I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah.
That, because it's it's not often that a show gets kind of treated that way. I think, usually there's a date ahead of time that we all know and we have marked on our calendars and stuff. And,
right.
And it was just kind of neat that there was this big surprise that here we go. Here they are.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We're going.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I can't think of any other time a show has pulled that off. To be like, our season started now. Go watch it.
Right.
Then, like right now, if you want to, in the middle of this whole presentation. So that was big, and we all did watch it, but that's a conversation for another time.
Right. Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. I don't want to go too much into like specifics of the episode just in case people haven't seen it. But what I will say just on my end, I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them a lot.
Yep.
And I think, listen, one of my favorite episodes ever of the show is from season 1, Downtime. And it's a fun episode that I think does a lot as far as is showing you like Atlantis, right? And like Atlantis and all Aquaman's world is like really, really cool and it's lush and it feels big and grand, but lived in at the same time. And I feel like they did a really, really great job with Atlantis in season 1. And so what I will say as a tease to people is I think they do that again with another location in the DC universe. And I was flabbergasted by it. I loved it.
Right. Yes.
So the new season is off to a good start.
Yeah. Kind of overshadowed the trailer, to be honest. Right.
You're like, why am I going to watch a trailer if I can just go watch the show?
Yeah. I didn't even watch the trailer. I just watched the episode. So
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Didn't bother with it.
Was it a good trailer, though?
It is a pretty good trailer. I mean, it's one of those things that after seeing the first 2 episodes, I got a glimpse of, I got a feeling that some of the stuff in the trailer is probably going to be from the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like that it was a sense I got is that like, at least the images that sort of like stayed to the front of my mind.
Right.
Of what we saw. Right. There's a couple of like, pretty stark, like really, memorable images, but I feel like at least one of them for sure is probably going to be in the next one.
Yeah,
that's my guess.
Okay.
There is still some work to do on the season from Greg Weisman, showrunner, and Brandon Vietti talking yesterday. I think they've finished 20 episodes, and there's a few more still that just have to be finished off in post. But yeah, so they got most of it done.
Yep.
Don't know if they will split this one up like they did the previous season. We don't know that yet. If they will just keep going until we get to the end of these, or if there will be a break somewhere in the middle like there was in the previous season.
Right.
Yeah.
Worth pointing out, I suppose, that this is the first season that is running on HBO Max, because season 3 was on the DC Universe app.
Right.
So this is actually like the debut season on HBO as far as new episodes. It's been, you could watch the first 3 seasons for, the last couple of months on HBO Max since the launch, I believe, at least. But yeah, just to be thorough, worth pointing that out, I think.
Right.
So yeah, we're kind of being a little broad and non-specific on purpose about this one, just because we want you guys to see the show, and you guys all know that we all love the show, and because it comes up all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So check it out.
I was gonna
Go for it.
I'll say rumor has it that they might do something similar to DC Universe, in which we get the first 13 in this half of the year, and then we get the second half in 2022.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give them a little bit of time.
Yes.
No announcement for season 5 or anything like that, though. We didn't, nothing like that. We didn't hear about any pickup announcement as far as this.
The only thing I heard was no, because Weissman himself said, if you want season 5, watch it and 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 watch it. Because he's like, right now we don't have any commitment to season 5 yet.
Okay.
So
Right.
So by all means, please watch. So we get a season 5.
Yeah, and I feel like, and they got their season 4 announcement at Comic-Con, from what I remember. Right. Like they announced it at Comic-Con, but they found out, I think, like more or less around the same time, because I remember when Young Justice, because I remember the announcement where like Weissman was like holding his hand up in the air, and he was like, finger signing like 1, 2, 3, 4, and like the crowd all went nuts when he did 4. But then I remember like when Comic-Con was over, like that next Monday or something, like somebody asked him like, how far along are you on Twitter? And he was like, no. Like, he's like, we're starting to write it now. Like, like we don't have anything done yet, Okay. So let's stay with Weissman though, really quick, because we got a trailer for what is going to be an animated movie that we did know was coming. Called Catwoman Hunted, which had a trailer, which is the Catwoman kind of anime style-y looking movie that's going to be coming out early 2022, it sounds like. And Weissman wrote the script for this. Reportedly, I believe he pitched it as an anime style movie. So what'd you guys think?
That makes sense. Oh yeah, well, I like the rollout. Me, I'm an anime fan, no surprise. And it's and they touted it as the first animated feature from DC this 2020 in February. The lead role is going to be voiced by Elizabeth Gillies, and Batwoman's also going to be in it, and that's voiced by Stephanie Beatrice.
Right.
I thought it looked to be fun because it spotlights Catwoman in a way that we don't really get to see her, at least not being the lead in her own animated feature. I mean, we do get something small in the course of a short, but nothing of this grandeur,
Yeah.
And for the voice cast, Elizabeth Gillies is on CW's Dynasty, but she comes from Victorious, where Ariana Grande came from. She was on that, and then Stephanie Beatrice is from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, yeah.
And there's other looking at the cast list, some other a couple of Greg Weissman staples in there. I see Jonathan Frakes, Keith David are going to be providing voices for some characters. Another actress is Lauren Cohen from Walking Dead is going to be doing a voice in it.
Yep.
So this is one where like Tommy, I'm the other like anime fan here. Like Tommy and I are the half that likes anime.
Yes.
And this is one like I was super, super skeptical of, just because I'm always skeptical of the companies that are like, we're doing anime now, like come watch our anime, because they only ever think of it as being like a visual style. They don't understand, like Like they don't realize it's like, there's a whole different layer of culture to what makes anime than just how the character design. And that's what a lot of these companies often don't understand. Some have been more successful than others. DC, I don't think, was successful in their first attempt, which was the Gotham Knights straight to video around, what was that, 2012, 2013?
No, really, like 2008.
2008. Oh, it was before Dark Knight.
Yeah, because
really.
It was shopped as it was promoted as it was supposed to bridge Batman Begins and Dark Knight.
Okay,
and then it's like it doesn't bridge anything.
Yeah, I was in my mind. I was placing it between Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. But yeah, so it was before Dark Knight, and that was one where I was like, it just wasn't very successful. They were trying to be like the Animatrix, which I think had some success, but I like some of those much more than I like others of those shorts. Most recently, Star Wars Visions, I think, was a complete success, but they just went to the studios, to the Japanese animation studios, and said, do whatever you want. Like, we're not going to stop you.
Right.
We're not going to try to force what we think you do onto you, which is where I think the problem comes with a lot of these things. But saying all that and how skeptical I was pleasantly surprised by the trailer. I would not have thought that Greg Weisman was, much of a weeb, much of an anime fan himself, just from, looking at his work. And I've seen a lot of his work over the years, and it doesn't have much of that influence in it. But I can clearly see where he is drawing direct influence, where he and the director that they're working with, because they are working with an anime director whose name is Shinsuke Terasawa. And I can actually see exactly what they're doing. And they're doing Lupin the Third with Catwoman.
Yes.
It is,
we'll say that.
It is straight up 100% Lupin the Third with Catwoman and Batwoman.
And Batwoman. Mm-hmm.
And this animation director has worked on Lupin the Third for decades. Like he has a lot of Lupin the Third experience.
Cool. I was gonna ask you guys if you knew the director from anything. If he was a name, I was gonna ask you.
I did not know him by name, but I looked him up, and looking from his credits list, he's got a ton of credits. I mean, famous ones, Slam Dunk, like Lupin the Third, Armitage, XXX Holic, which I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but I've always seen it written. That manga and anime series is quite popular.
Blue Submarine.
Yeah. But yeah, like I do see a lot of Lupin in his past, so I think they kind of are on the same page. Like they know what they're going for. And I think that might be a key to their success is they've got a joint reference point. So it's not necessarily, somebody like an American writer being like, I'm going to try to write like I'm Japanese, but I want the director to direct like they're American, which is where I think some of it went awry before. So I was pleasantly surprised though. It looked fun. Everything
about this project shocks me.
Yeah.
Like at every turn of what short, sort of like media presence it's had, because it was announced really not all that long ago.
Right.
I mean, it was announced. It was announced really from the time we're recording, a couple of months ago that we knew about it. So one, it was like, I read a ton of Weisman interviews. I follow him on Twitter, like I was saying, and everything. Like, he mentions at times where like, I'm working on something I can't talk about. You know what I mean? But for the fact that like it was like, okay, wow, there's a Catwoman animated movie that we didn't know about that's coming, right? Okay, wow, Weisman's working on it. Awesome. I can't wait for that. It's anime styled. Huh? Okay, that's interesting.
Right.
And I would never have guessed. I would never have guessed that Weisman would have been the one to pitch it as anime too. Because like you were saying, like, we followed his stuff a lot. Like if he's an anime fan, like, like his fans didn't know about it really.
Right.
Like,
it's gone under the radar.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's definitely gone under the radar. And then just sort of like seeing the trailer and just seeing how fun it looks.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like it does look like crimey and, like all the cool, like, heisty Catwoman stuff that you would expect.
Yeah.
And, looking at the voice cast, like you were saying, like, Jonathan Frakes, he's supposed to be King Faraday, which sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Jonathan Banks is apparently Black Mask. Keith David is Tobias Whale. Like, it sounds like so much fun to me. And the thing that really gets it gets me more excited about this too is I saw Weissman on Twitter. He had tweeted on August 28th that somebody had asked him about like whether or not this was in canon with Young Justice. And he says, quote, like the Green Arrow short I did ages ago. So he's talking about the DC showcase from a couple years back. Like the Green Arrow short I did ages ago, it overlaps with Young Justice continuity without strictly speaking being a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you watch Young Justice and there's bits in season 1 where like that, like aspects of that Green Arrow short are referenced in some way. And so I just think that this is like super, super cool. So I'm looking at it as sort of like this weird quasi like stepsister of Young Justice, right? Which is interesting because because we've not seen Catwoman in Young Justice yet.
Right.
Even in the comics, if memory serves.
Right.
She's not in any of the books anywhere.
Yeah. And one thing to that effect is that Cheshire we see her in the trailer for this Catwoman Hunted. She is a character we see in Young Justice quite a bit. She's pivotal in Young Justice. And she's voiced by the same voice actress, Kelly Hu, in both. So. Yep,
exactly.
So there's a little bridge there.
I can't wait for this. I'm so surprised. So yes, so check out the trailer if you guys haven't seen it. We're going to post all of this stuff on letmeknowhowitis.com too. So if you guys, if you need easy access to any of this stuff, you can just go there and we'll have like all the trailers and all the stuff that we're talking about there for you guys to check out. So yes, I'm thrilled for this one. So there was a lot of animation news.
And I always recommend Lupin the Third to everybody too. But the biggest connection is that they're both international jewel thieves. So that's where I think it's a natural inspiration for Catwoman. And I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, I like the trailer. I thought the trailer was fun. I think it's going to be it's going to be a good story. I'm not, as Clifton was saying, I'm not big on anime. I'm not really sure why it's that, because again, it's not even done in an anime style that I like. So it's not one of those things where I'm like, I'm going to be in a rush to see it, but I'm looking forward to the story and the fact that I like the voice, like all the voice acting and that I saw in the trailer and that I've seen for the cast sounds pretty great.
Yeah.
Can't wait. For me. So, all right. So there's a lot of animation stuff to get through. There was, a bunch of like really cool announcements, some big, some small, some had, more stuff to show than others. I think that's going to be kind of like a main, thrust throughout this whole discussion is, some stuff had a lot of like really, really prepared stuff and other things are just sort of like, just talked about like this is coming down the line. And, we can show you sort of like what we have. One of the things that doesn't have a whole lot that really got me excited too was we're getting a Milestone animated movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this thrilled me because if you guys remember when we did our Dwayne McDuffie Spotlight episode, I was saying like, this is one of the things I wanted. I was saying, Icon, really. I was like, give me an Icon animated movie. I hope that Warner Brothers and DC would start kind of picking away at some of that stuff and doing some of that animated stuff. But so this of sorts, our understanding is that it's supposed to feature like multiple Milestone characters in this movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like a Dakota verse, because that's what they call their like shared universe or their shared corner of the universe for Dakota City where they all live. So, not a whole lot of information just yet. We know that Brandon Thomas is writing the screenplay for it. Mm-hmm. He's a comics writer who, he's known for, he's working on Hardware Season 1, which is the, one of the Milestone relaunches. He's got some indie books, one titled Horizon, another one titled Excellence, that he does. And he's working on some of the Batman Future State stuff that's coming out now from DC. So he's on script. Like I said, like we know it's supposed to focus on multiple Milestone characters. We don't know who just yet, but I did see recently that there's a promotional poster that Bill Sienkiewicz did for it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
It's really nice.
Yeah. It's a really nice poster.
I always love his art.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, for the people with Milestones not ringing a bell, Static Shock is a character like the Rocket and Icon, Hardware, Blood Syndicate.
Right.
We don't know which of these characters yet are going to be appearing in this animated film together, but there are going to be multiples of them. So it will likely be a lot of those that I mentioned, just if I were to guess.
Right.
I did also think it was interesting that the open, not to spoil anything, but the Open for Young Justice makes a big point of focusing on Rocket as well.
Yeah, it does.
Which isn't something they haven't. I mean, she's a character that's been in it and around it, but she's not, she's not focused like one of the original members. So it's kind of interesting to see her take that role. And I hope that means that they're going to focus more on that stuff as well as the Dakota part of, DC.
Right.
Well, yeah, and I think that's that's one of the neat things about Young Justice too, is that they are big proponents of Dwayne McDuffie's legacy and stuff. So they try and work those characters in. I think the most used of all of them is Rocket or Static, but like really neither's had like an episode that they are featured in as like sort of the lead just yet.
That's
hopefully given some more time. The poster, I don't know how much in the know Sienkiewicz is for this, but the poster that he did features Static, and it has Hardware and Rocket and Icon on there. But we don't know. We also don't know if this is going to be a straight to video, like the ones that DC, puts out 3 or 4 of these a year.
Right.
Or if this is going to be a theatrical thing. We don't know. We don't know yet.
Yeah, they said it's being in conjunction with Warner Brothers Animation. That's all we know. But we don't know what the ultimate release plan for it is at this point.
But as with everything else, I'm thrilled for this too. I'm a big animation junkie. So, all right. What was something that we haven't talked about yet that jumped out at you guys?
The only thing that I saw that it was interesting to me was the Batman show, the animated.
Okay.
And the idea that they talked about it.
Cape Crusader?
Is that it? Is that the one?
Cape Crusader. Batman Cape Crusader.
And they talk about I guess Bruce Timm talks about the fact that it's like the Batman, the animated, if Batman the Animated Series was basically like, it sounded like it was distilled down to the essence of Batman the Animated Series.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're going, they're going to kind of year one it, which is fine with me. I think that's a great place to go to. But, and not to expect that it's going to be some kind of continuation of the original from way back when. But the idea that they're going with the same aesthetic and the fact that they're going to be, it's HBO Max, right?
Yeah.
And Cartoon Network joint.
Okay. So the idea that they're going to be able to do that, that sort of show is exciting. I thought that was really exciting. The fact that that's what it's going to basically be.
Okay.
Where again, it's a show that seems to be spawned out of the movie, but not really the movie again.
Well, it might be.
Right. It could be, but we don't know for sure, right?
Yeah, but it's a definitely nod to based upon the executive producers attached to it. I mean, we have Bruce Timm, who's executive producer. I think James Tucker was also listed as executive producer.
And Abrams, right? J.J. Abrams?
Yeah, J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves.
Yeah, Matt Reeves, the director of the upcoming The Batman movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I thought it was interesting because it felt like he felt like they're getting a second chance to do it, but without the constraints that was placed on them from Fox.
Right. That's the other thing, is the fact that it's going to be, because again, I watched fairly recently the documentary that was put together about the show, and they talked to, Bruce Timm and Paul Dini and, Andre Romano, everybody, Kevin Conroy, everyone and anyone that was involved. And the idea that, the stuff that they had to deal with Fox and, how many times they had to change something or cheat something to make it look but still that show, is still very visceral, and you can still feel a lot of stuff that goes on. And there's still moments in it that I'm like, how'd they get this on to Saturday morning? Much less Monday through Friday afternoon. So it'll be interesting to see how much they do now that they're not constrained by that stuff.
Yeah.
I find interesting too is that it sort of drove the idea. Remember that one short that he put out to commemorate Batman? Was it his 80th anniversary?
Yeah, I think so.
Right. Strange Days.
Yes. In which he's fighting that monster on like a hilltop or on the precipice of a cliff.
Right.
If you can recall that, that's basically the basis of what we're going to get with at least the initial.
He's fighting one of Hugo Strange monster men.
Right.
Yes.
That's drawn a bit like Lothar from Rocketeer. Help me out with the name.
Rondo Hatton, actor Rondo Hatton.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He's drawn a little bit to resemble him
from our Rocketeer episode that we talked about.
Right.
Yeah. But no, I found it interesting because they want to do a rough explanation of how he comes into contact with certain people, grow their trust, how he comes with his inventions on the necessity of what he needs, I felt it's from the, like what you said, year one, but it's basically with the ground up, like how we get to the Batmobile and its different iterations.
Because it sounded to me like, but it sounds like to me the idea of like almost Legends of the Dark Knight, where there's like a lot of those like, well, how did the Batmobile come about? How did he get this gadget? How did he do? What's the story behind the bat signal? That kind of thing.
Right.
We're gonna get a lot of that stuff as well, which is good. I think that should be a lot of fun to do that as well.
Yeah, that aspect sounded cool to me. I think that, just to see sort of like the development of the Batman we know come to be. Yeah.
Because to me, it seems like the idea that I got, Tommy, when I read all the stuff from Tim was, what's the episode where he's wearing the ski mask? Is it Mask of the Phantasm, or is it an episode where he's wearing the ski mask and he's on the truck and he's basically it's in and there's also the scene in year one, in Miller and Mazzucchelli's year one, where he has the bit where he goes out as the crazed vet and it doesn't go very well because he gets stabbed in the leg and almost dies.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get more of that kind of Batman before we get a much more polished, the idea that he doesn't really know what he's going to do or how he's going to do it now that he's got his gimmick together. So I think that's cool. I don't know how much of it they're going to, my only thought was especially with the way it looks, is it going to be, is again going to be sort of that nebulous kind of like, maybe it's the golden age, but they have TVs, but it's still black and white, but they have blimps. The kind of a thing.
I believe they did say vaguely 40s again.
Vaguely 40s again? Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Okay, very well.
So this was kind of an interesting rollout because they did like a featurette where they're talking to Abrams and Bruce Timm and Matt Reeves and James Tucker. They didn't show any footage. Nothing.
Right.
All we have is still just that poster that Bruce Timm has of it, that's clearly a Bruce Timm drawing that was when the show was first announced, and that's it. And all the clips that they were showing while they were talking about this was like bits of Batman the Animated Series and that Strange Days short from DC Nation, which they wanted to emphasize like it's not going to be black and white, but that Strange Days short is kind of like the best example of what the show is going to be. Right, that they are steering like very much into 40s.
Right.
Look, but it's still going to be like modern, but like, I think like Tim was even saying, like, we're maintaining sort of that aesthetic for like hairstyles and stuff like that and everything. While at the same time, he was saying like they are modernizing as far as like representation and things of that nature. Which sounds really, really cool. Like
it's not going to be like the actual 1940s. It's going to be like a better 1940s.
And they said the magic word for me was that they said it's going to be very like heavily like noir influenced, which not black and white. So it's always interesting for me to see like when noir is like a film language is being referenced in color. Like I always like to see how people are going to do that. But, they're saying they're influenced by like German expressionism, which is, these are all like buzzwords for me as a noir lover because I talk about it every week. The funny thing to me watching this behind the scenes video is or featurette of it is like the sense of it, like I felt a little bit that like even Matt Reeves and Abrams were a little bit like, I really want to see what Bruce is going to do with this.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so like, I'm not saying that they have like nothing to do with it. Like they do clearly. I mean, they're like involved creatively with it, but there was a sense a little bit of like, I just like, I'm really curious to see how it's going to look and like what, which I thought was cool.
Yeah. One of the quotes that Bruce Timm gave that was interesting though, was him saying that it's more Batman the Animated Series than Batman the Animated Series.
Right.
Is his goal for it. And I was like, oh, it's interesting. I'm like, as far as we know, Paul Dini is not involved in this, right?
Yeah, as far as we know.
So, I mean, it's Bruce Timm's Batman the Animated Series.
Right.
So we will see what that is like.
And it's cool too that Tucker's still around for it also. That, James Tucker, I think gets, glossed over a little bit. I mean, like he goes back to, he wasn't on the original Batman the Animated Series, but he came on board with Bruce and those guys on Superman. Like he was, I mean, like right from the get-go. I mean, my understanding is that he designed Krypton of in the pilot of Superman. So he was on right from the get-go. So he would have been on there for like the new Batman Adventures when animated series came back with like the Tim Drake episodes and Dick is Nightwing and stuff like that. And of course, and he's worked on, Batman Brave and the Bold was his big thing. So it's neat. Like, he's also a creator that I hold in very high regard. And I think that it's neat that he's going to have his voice attached to this too. And more as like, cause he's another one I follow on Twitter. And as I learn more about Tucker, I find that he's also like a big old movie aficionado. And like, you know what I mean? We're like, he's right. He will comment on what TCM is playing on Noir Alley that weekend, like often, right? Like, and so I think him as being a resource.
So why aren't you best friends yet?
I don't know. I would, right? Yeah, I know, right?
You have so much in common.
But I just feel like I feel him as a resource just to be in the room, as far as like just the look of it, is going to be so neat. Like I wish so much that we got some kind of like art from it or something like that, or just design work, but nothing. We didn't see anything about it. Not to be the show that got announced the same day as Batman the Cape Crusader is My Adventures with Superman. Right? Another animated show that's coming out at the same time. There was a little bit of a blurb about it in at DC Fandome, where they did reveal some more art, a few key pieces. We got to see like Clark's design and Lois's design and Jimmy's design. This is another one. I can't wait for this. I love the look of this. I love the look of it because it's not Batman the Animated Series, and it's not Young Justice, and it's not Teen Titans Go. Like it's very much, for the DC animated stuff, a new style. And it looks a little bit more to me like, I want to say like Kipo on Netflix.
Okay.
Right? Am I the only one that's kind of getting vibes of it from there? You guys tell me what you're thinking.
I mean, some of the character design could be similar to like the main character in that.
Okay.
I'm getting more anime vibes. The character designs, their wide eyes, the expressions on their face, definitely moving towards that kind of comical look towards it. But I was gonna say about the Cape Crusader was kind of sort of give me the Batman vibes that was on back when the one that was designed by Jeff Matsuda, which they're trying to reintroduce Batman from the groundwork up. But as far as the Superman, My Adventures with Superman, that looks fun. It just looks like it's something that's going to be a wild ride from a different perspective, or maybe not directly from Superman's perspective, maybe from Lois, or maybe from Jimmy. But no, definitely anime vibes.
Yeah, the title I think is interesting, and it's like how, like what does that do for the show? I think, right? Like who's going to be the focal character for that reason, which I think is super interesting. And I'm saying interesting a lot, but really, like, I mean, there wasn't, animation wise, I have to say, at Fandom, there was nothing that came out that made me go like, I'll let somebody else watch that and let me know how it is. Like I want to see all of it. Like I really do, And I just I feel bad for that Superman show, because I feel like the Superman show is just getting like upstaged at every turn because, it got announced the same day as another Batman show with Bruce Timm.
Right.
And it's sort of like this, like anytime you get a possible like glimpse of Batman the Animated Series, I think that sort of like takes all the air in the room. And then you have like this other like new thing that's coming that, like I said, like looks different and appears to be like they may be having some fun with it. And I don't think it's anything to just sort of write off just yet, like. All right, we should move on because we still got a lot to get through. Let's jump into comics.
Okay.
What did you guys see comics wise that have you jazzed?
Well, I'll start. I was excited about the fact that Milestone's bringing back Blood Syndicate in 2022.
Okay.
They had a nice is another nice poster, another silhouetted poster of the characters from Blood Syndicate, which is kind of like if you're not familiar with Blood Syndicate from Milestone. Milestone was basically their team book. They have other books that come along out, but that was the first one that focuses on a gang. You know, a lot of kids that basically went through the bang. They were bang babies. You know, they went through the same similar what happened to Wade, at least in the comic, the original stuff. The way that Static got his powers. But yeah, it was a great book for a long time. I really liked it a lot. Characters are great. Had a lot of really unique power sets. So I'm kind of excited for that. That was one of the main things I saw.
Yeah, it was not in the first wave that they brought back in their season ones, and they said that they got a lot of people asking, "Where's Blood Syndicate?"
Right.
They said it was a shockingly large number of people's favorite book. Apparently,
it was.
Yeah, I was gonna say too. They appeared to be a little surprised by it. That they were like, "Yeah,
I don't know why
big
they
demand
went
for Blood Syndicate."
No, it's a great book. It was a really good book. Like I said, for a long time, it was a great book. But not the other books are bad. The other books are really good too. But that one was one of my favorites out of Milestone. So I'm excited that it's coming back.
They're doing a big like compendium too. It sounds like this huge like monster like 1,000-page like reprint of some of the original books that it sounded like.
Yeah, all the original runs. They said it's going to be 1,300 pages, and that's volume 1.
Wow.
Good God.
Jeez.
Yes. So a couple phone book size books by the end of it.
Yeah. Have a sturdy table when you're reading that. Which is great. I don't mean to joke about it. Like, it is great. Like, anytime that stuff is getting reprinted, it's awesome because it's fantastic. You know what I mean? And it's always nice when Milestone is getting some love. But yeah, like 1,000-page book. It just sounds like it sounds so much.
Yep.
So what else is out there? Tommy, you heard a lot of the comic news stuff and everything. So what was out there that you're most excited about?
Well, I just like to know I like that they're creating a new chapter for Superman outside of Earth, and which is supposed to be, it's touted as big as the death of Superman, which is his War World saga, which starts off in Action Comics 1036. I thought I got a glimpse of it in Superman and the Authority, but evidently it was in what was that time jump, Frank, in which they DC did a thing in which they did a slight time jump after the Metal War, whatever. Do you recall what it was? DC did a time jump for all his characters to show them where they would be, like in a future state. Thank you.
Yeah, in future state. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, in which he was already on World, and you loved the depiction of how Superman looked.
The art of it was awesome. Yeah, no, it was awesome.
Yeah, that's where they're taking him for the upcoming series, in which he tries to liberate World from Mongol. And I was just enthralled by that because I loved the current book of Superman and the Authority and how it ended and who they involved before he takes the step in order to liberate World and leave Earth to be protected by his son. That was very engaging. I look forward to that.
What's the story? What were they talking about for the War World event?
Well, basically, Superman's get the notion to enlarge his scope or his brand of justice and hope to other planets, and he starts by handpicking a crew in order to help him do so. I can't recall exactly who his crew consists of, but the people that I specifically know are, he has Midnighter and Apollo from Wildstorm Comics. He also has Natasha Irons, which is Steel. She accompanies him as well. You also have Manchester Black, if you can recall. He's another pick. And I want to say the Enchantress rounds out his crew. I may be missing one or two people, but he picks them in order to take the next challenge, which is off-world to Mongo's War World.
Right.
In which he feels like these people have been enslaved for far too long, and he's never taken the attention to give them the hope and the freedom that they deserve.
Right.
And that's how they're pushing his next ordeal, so to speak.
And I had heard, I think it was Jim Lee when he was talking about it, was saying that one of the cruxes of the story might be that of the enslaved, people there on War World, that some of them might be Kryptonians.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Which was an interesting angle. So yeah, it's going to be, I think anytime something is promoted as big as Death of Superman, I do kind of get into like, we'll see. Death of Superman was pretty big.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yeah.
Like it was definitely pretty big. But I do think this sounds neat, and I don't know exactly like what angle, like what it's going to go. But for some reason, it kind of conjures an image of like Savage Superman to me, like kind of like Conan Superman.
Yeah, it feels that way
to me. I don't know why. That could just be me. There's no piece of art out there or anything like that gave me the hint, but it's just sort of like the concept sort of just reminds me a little bit of that for some reason. I don't know why. But so okay, so you said that there was a Wonder Woman event coming too?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be the trial of the Amazons.
Mm-hmm.
They said it's going to kick off in 2022, in which basically we get to see where what the next Wonder Woman is going to be, and they're coming into terms with the different people that might be taking over the mantle, so to speak. That one I'm not quite sure of, but it's also pushed for Nubia and the Amazons, which is coming out in I think in a week or so.
Right, fairly soon.
Yeah. But there are other titles as well. I just didn't catch as much as the information based upon what they're trying to do. Because after the events of the Metal War, you have Wonder Woman ascending to a higher platform, in which,
okay.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. And you find out also there's other pockets of Amazons around the world that they weren't aware of for whatever given reason. And out of one of those pockets, we have a new Wonder Woman.
Kind of like what they did with Future State is the idea that there was a whole contingency of Amazons in Brazil.
Yeah.
And then you get was it Yara Flor? Is that her name?
I think so. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. So that's interesting. It's interesting that they're leaning into that.
Yeah. And then we have Nubia stepping up to be the Queen of Themyscira.
Okay. Cool.
So she's going to get her own book in which they spotlight her as well. But yeah, they're trying to bring Wonder Woman to a cosmic scale as far as pushing her storylines to a higher levels. Hopefully it'll be something worth reading or something enjoyable.
Right.
I'm looking forward to that as well.
Well, it's about, I know Gail did some of that stuff where she took Wonder Woman to space, but it's also one of those things where I think it's interesting the fact that they're finally trying to expand her world. Like there's current storyline. I think I'm not sure. I think Becky Cloonan's the one that's writing it. I'm not sure who's on the current book of Wonder Woman, but a lot of stuff that Wonder Woman having her one of those like typical stuff that they would do with any other character, where Wonder Woman goes to another part of the multiverse or there's time travel. I'm like, why haven't we got more of this stuff with Wonder Woman? Like basically superhero trope stuff, which I'm hoping they're going to do more of with what you're talking about, Tommy.
Yeah.
I hope so too. I think I've always thought Wonder Woman desperately needs a little bit of that stuff. Like,
yeah, I think so too.
Like more superhero-y stuff.
Yes. But
no, it is cool. It is cool that, just the fact that there is a Wonder Woman like event coming is awesome to hear, and I would love for this, if it's, shaping up to be the new Wonder Woman, I would love to see another version of the bullets and bracelets, like tournaments and all that stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that could be an event in and of itself right there.
Right.
Just like all the different like possible Wonder Womans to follow up would be fun. So really quick, I guess we should just touch upon the fact that Superman has a new motto.
Yeah.
Or an amended motto.
Yeah.
So instead of truth, justice, and the American way, that they are going to start moving forward, Superman's motto is going to be truth, justice, and a better tomorrow.
Right.
What do you guys think?
Well, being that he's the man of tomorrow, it fits.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, also the other thing is like they've, I've I know he's been the American way for so long, but at the same time, I don't know. In the books, it's always for a very long time. It's been, he's a citizen of the world. They've every now and then they like to I don't know. They like to seem like to put this out there, and I'm like, that's great, but really, you've already done this in the books. I don't know. It's you know what I mean. It's not one of those things where it was like when I saw it, I was like, okay, well, you're just doubling down or tripling down on something you've already established in the books 10, 15 years ago. So
yeah, no, I'm with you. I think in some way that it does feel like, well, that's been long established already.
Yeah.
But I think actually having something concrete for all the writers to sort of be unified on, that like this is now the new moniker, instead of having like different writers like try and figure out like interesting ways of not saying American way or cutting it off in some way, which is, I've seen this a million times, or like how are we going to address this aspect that we want Superman to be a global hero, not just an American hero. Right. I think it's cool. I think it's really cool. And in some ways I felt like this very well could have been the biggest news item out of the whole weekend.
Right.
But I don't know that it was that it felt kind of earth shattering to me when they were saying, I'm like, wow, that's neat. Like, you don't hear that every day. Like they're taking this thing that's so ingrained in pop culture and we're changing it. And in my opinion, I think, and I do think changing it for the better. I do like this. I think that this is, there is a optimism to this that I still liked it. I think it's so crucial for Superman.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think this is cool. So, all right. So we will get into TV, but do you guys want to take a quick pit stop in video games? Because there was a new Suicide Squad trailer that came out. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League.
Yes. I saw that.
Which I did. I saw it too. I do think it looks really cool, but so I'm not a gamer. So, I'm not, chances are I'm not going to sit and play this. So I just wanted to open it up to you guys, tell us what you think.
I mean, it was fine. I was hoping we'd get a little gameplay, but we don't get any gameplay out of it.
We still haven't gotten gameplay. That's what made me sick.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Tommy, I felt the same way. I mean, it looks cool. It's all, I mean, for like being a cutscene, basically a 3-minute cutscene, I think we get,
yes.
out of however long this game is.
You guys have just made me feel 1,000. Because watching these trailers, like I've realized, like I can't tell the difference anymore. Like I don't know what's gameplay and what.
Well, I mean, that's definitely not
anymore.
No. What they showed us was definitely that's not. I mean, I'd be amazed if that's actual gameplay. What it's going to look like, but
it's definitely not gameplay.
I thought all the characters. It looks like all the Justice League characters are pretty well represented. They all look like they're fairly traditional costumes, except Wonder Woman. I don't know what the hell Wonder Woman was wearing. That's not Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know what that is.
Take. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that look is. It's kind of a mishmash of like, oh, she's in pants. I'm like, her current look with the Greek skirt is perfectly fine. That was a perfectly fine look. I don't know if it's one of the things where you can change the look of the characters and the heroes and the villains. We'll have to wait and see. But that was the one thing that I couldn't get a good look at her character long enough to be like, is she supposed to be from another Earth? Is she or from another someplace in the multiverse? Is that the actual Wonder Woman that's in their world? Because it looked like she was wearing some kind of like jacket vest thing. I don't know. But otherwise, it looks like it's going to be fun. I just wish we'd gotten some gameplay out of it. That's my only gripe with it.
Okay.
No, you're not alone in that gripe. I just felt that they all they gave us was how the Justice League would be depicted. Like the weird one-eyed Flash thing was off. Was off to me. They made Jon Stewart OP. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get Green Lantern being that threat, but they just upped his scale as to how, like, it made him totally impossible to stop him of all people.
Sure.
Right.
But I just wish they'd show us that.
I think for that crew, right? I think for Boomerang to go up against a Lantern would be that's a steep hill to climb.
It just seems every one of the members of the Justice League seem overwhelmed to those four.
I mean, they do. It does look like Boomerang has that. Is he Owen or is he Digger? Like, that's my question, because he had a little bit. There's one part where it looked like he's got the super speed as well. Did you notice that?
I thought he was Owen. I thought he was Owen because of the super speed.
Okay, because it definitely he's in there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was my question. I didn't know. I had a moment of like, well, is it him? Obviously, is it the classic or is it his kid? But the super speed, because again, it's one of those things where I don't know what they're drawing, which obviously I know the characters are drawing from, but it was kind of like, well, is it kind of movie continuity? Is it kind of comic book? We don't really know yet. But no, like I said, it looks like it's fun. It looks like it's be fun. I'm sure I'll play it. I'm sure I'll buy it. I've always wanted a game, where you fight you're able to fight superheroes and you're that as a villain. I thought at one point that Thanos' quest to get the gems, taking on various superheroes, would have made it for a great video game. Instead, it made a great movie franchise.
Right.
So, Yeah, I'm excited for it. I thought it looks, again, for being all cutscenes, I'm fine with it. I just wish I want to see what exactly, how is it going to work?
Okay.
Whether you're going to be able to play with 4 people, whether you're going to play, kind of like X-Men Legends, that kind of game where you have 4 characters that you can switch off and play. So, that to me is kind of, it looks cool cutscene wise, but that doesn't tell me anything about how it plays. So,
no. The thing that pulls me away from trying to put that much attention to it, because they said it's coming out 2023. That's still 2 years away.
Oy, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm thankful that they're able to show us that much cut footage,
Mm-hmm. But I might be able to find a PS5 by then.
Yes.
and you might see some gameplay footage in Fandome 2022.
Right,
exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So to me, it's just one big teaser that we're still working on it. Don't forget. Mm-hmm. And that's all I take it as.
And I felt the same way about the Gotham Knights as well. It looked cool, but there's no gameplay in it. So,
but that one, ironically, is coming out to next year, and sure, at least we got the premise than before with the Court of Owls.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we got the footage of Gotham Knights though, didn't we?
Oh, did we?
Yeah, the first trailer was him, Batgirl, working with.
Oh, you're right. But that's to me, when I see that and they don't show me the same, like show me a little more of it now, it makes me wonder if that was just sort of like the morsel they threw out to be like, this is what we look like if we actually played the game. And then when we actually get the game, we don't get that. So
no, it is. All right.
Let's switch gears to TV now. So
okay.
I'm just throwing it out there. So what was the big thing from TV? What did you guys latch onto?
Apparently Flash is getting new boots.
Do you like those? Do you like those?
Yeah.
I again, we're going to talk about movies fairly quickly, but I think it's one of those things where it's kind of disrespectful. I mean, they do it every year. Don't get me wrong. It's something it's a trope that they do with the Flash and whether they're going to change for Grant Gustin's Flash from season to season. But the idea that that's all they had when we got a Flash trailer for the movie, I was kind of like, all right, I guess, I mean, sure, they're gold. They're gold now. They're gold. Awesome. But, I mean, that guy's been carrying water as a Flash for, like I said, going on 8 seasons. I think that show deserves a little better than just he's got gold boots. Just saying.
That does sound cool, though.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to look great.
Time? Red shoes this whole time? That's neat.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like every season they get a little bit more they get a little bit more bold. They're like, okay, we're getting closer to comics accurate each season.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Malibu Stacy's got a new hat.
I just have a question, Clifton.
Yes.
What do you think of the new Pennyworth announcement on HBO Max?
I thought it was canceled.
Okay.
I watched Pennyworth. I watched both seasons. And then I think word got out that Epix was done with it, because that's where the first 2 seasons ran, was on the Epix premium cable channel. And then they did the comic, and I was like, oh, season 2 left off in a really random spot. I guess the comic's gonna just tell us what happened after, those season, the comics that pick up shows after they got canceled. That happens.
Right.
And then they did a Pennyworth segment here at Fandome, and they're clearly on set, but it starts with Jack Bannon's the actor who plays Pennyworth, and he's saying a farewell, basically. It was fun playing the character. and the actor who plays Thomas Wayne is like, wait, we're not gone yet. And they're like, oh yeah, we got picked up for season 3. And it's an HBO Max original now, so it will not be on Epix. So I assume they will be getting the previous 2 seasons too from Epix, I would assume, so that everybody now on HBO Max could catch up the first 2 seasons.
Okay.
They do say there's going to be a time jump from where they left off in their random spot at season 2, so I assume maybe that is what the comic fills in before we get to the new season 3. So that was some breaking news from Fandome.
TV loves their time jumps.
Yep.
Yeah, loves their time jumps right now.
Yeah, they do.
Oh man. Okay. What else? I saw the Naomi trailer.
Yeah.
that came out. This was one that, like, I was asking you guys offline too. I was like fuzzy on it. Is this a CW show? Is this going to be an HBO Max show?
Right, it is CW.
Yeah,
but I thought it looked cool. I thought it looked really, really cool. Very, very intentionally vague.
Yeah.
Right. But
well, I mean, the scene they showed us is straight from the comic.
Yeah, it's like panel for panel.
Okay.
Like
it's panel for panel. Yeah. Other than the fact that the Superman Mongol fight that they show in the comic is obviously more detailed because it's comics and you don't have to deal with getting Tyler Hoechlin
right
over there, as well as CGIing a Mongol. But otherwise, that's the book. So
okay,
yeah,
yep.
And then there was DMZ, which I've never read, but I guess that was only interesting to me because Rosario Dawson and Hoon Lee, which was the voice of Splinter, and in a couple of other shows that I've watched previously. I love his acting, but I damn near know anything about it. So if anybody can enlighten me on the inside with DMZ, that'd be definitely interesting.
It's being showrun by Ava DuVernay.
Okay.
So that's another big name attached. I mean, it was a Vertigo. Was it Vertigo series? I think it was Vertigo.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, it's Vertigo. Yeah.
Mid 2000s. Brian Wood, and I can't remember who the artist was on it. I read it, but the premise is that basically America's been in another civil war. There's like a divided states of America, and it's like one side versus what is still remains of the United States. And there's border between them, and that's where this takes place.
Okay.
And I did not know it was still happening. I did know it was happening before, pandemic and before lockdown. I did not know what happened to it during all of that, because it was going into production right around the time that everything did have to shut down. It's now being announced as a 4-episode limited series. I don't know if that was always the case or if that is something that happened due to world conditions, but we are still getting it, so that should be interesting.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
All right, let's delve into Peacemaker. Let's delve into it.
The biggest surprise I got from that trailer was Vigilante was in it.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
It's a cool costume. Looks cool.
Spot on.
It's a very comic book accurate vigilante costume.
Yeah, spot on.
Straight from
in the daytime.
Right.
In the daytime, it looks cool too. Like I still have a little 90s comic movie stuck in my head that, like, I'm still, we're like, a lot of those times those costumes were shot at night and everything because people were afraid of like what it would look like in the daytime and in stuff like that. And
DC still has a lot of that stuck in their minds too.
Yeah.
Right. But for this show, I'm like, man, like he's just out there. And the Peacemaker costume, I still think is one that, like,
right.
I still can't quite get over also, where I'm like, good for them. They went comics accurate, shiny helmet and everything. Like,
right. And he wore it everywhere.
Yeah. It's Adrian Chase as Vigilante. That's the character. So the guy who plays Vigilante is named Freddie Stroma, is the actor. The character is Adrian Chase Vigilante. Adrian Chase had been done on Arrow in the Arrowverse, but he was Prometheus there and not Vigilante, which is kind of weird because in the comics, Adrian Chase is Vigilante and Prometheus is somebody else.
Right.
So I don't know why they did that, but now we're getting this Adrian Chase, which is a comics accurate vigilante and a very comics accurate vigilante costume from like the 80s vigilante, because there had been a previous vigilante in the comics that was a cowboy.
Yes. Yeah.
And this is like the 80s version that I feel like was very inspired by Punisher at that point in time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a very grounded, like guns shooting up criminals vigilante kind of guy.
Yep. That's it.
They described this as a workplace comedy, which I can't wrap my head around.
Right.
Yeah.
Twisted workplace comedy, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Judging from the movie.
Right. Their workplace seems to be that van they all drive around in.
Right. Yeah.
Looking for crimes to fight, I guess.
There was I can tell there's already an episode of this that I can't wait for, and it was just thinking back of our review of the Suicide Squad, where Frank, I think you were talking about, where like Cena's like you got to see some like actual genuine like layers to his character a little bit when there was that moment where there's that moment where Bloodsport is talking about like his father.
Yeah.
Right. And how awful his upbringing was. And then there's that cutaway shot to Cena as Peacemaker, and his face, he doesn't say anything, but like his face is just so like whoops, like wuss. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I love for that reason. And I agree, like it's totally there. I think that he's very, very good in that movie, in that scene. And to see that, we're gonna get to see Peacemaker's dad.
Yeah.
As part of the show.
Yeah, no, from the trailer we got, I'm very excited to see that we're going to see, just I'm curious as just how far they're going to take it. James Gunn will probably go there because I wouldn't be surprised. So I'm not going to spoil it if you don't know about Peacemaker's dad. But yeah, that scene in Suicide Squad, I've waited to see how that's going to play out since we had it. So yeah, I'm very excited for it.
And apparently there's going to be a scene where he dances in tighty whities for 4 minutes to the Choir Boys at some point along the way. So they knew that would be a fan favorite moment from the Suicide Squad, even before it came out, because I think most of the show was shot before that movie came out.
Jeez.
Yeah. I think it looks fun. I think it looks really, really fun. I'm a little nervous because I don't like gore, and after seeing the Suicide Squad, like I feel like we're gonna get a pretty steady helping of it. But But I do think and I'm a wrestling fan. Like I like Cena. I like Cena a lot. I was expecting he was going to be really good in the Suicide Squad. So I think it's cool that I thought when he was cast, I'm like, that's a weird character to give him, right? Like I kind of wish he was playing somebody big.
Yeah.
But it is neat that like him playing it is now making the character big, which is neat.
Right.
I think that's cool. So, all right. So we're going to jump into the movies that were showcased at DC Fandome. But first, if you like the show, you could check out all of our episodes on YouTube and letmeknowhowitis.com. Just please, however you find us, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a review. And finally, send us those topic suggestions on Twitter or in the comments. Our Twitter handles are show's initials, LMKHII. All right. So let's get into the movies.
All right. Let's go to the movies.
Showcased a few here. Few here in like we said, in various degrees of development. The one I found myself actually being a little bit more excited about was Aquaman 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Momoa had a key word for me where he was like, we have environmental undertones to this one. And I was like, okay. That'll be interesting. That's going to be an interesting angle to play with, which is certainly there for the character. The character is rife for addressing this kind of thing.
Right.
And so I like the idea that there is, some kind of message to accompany it. And then of course I saw like all the Black Manta like in fight training scenes, and I just like I freaking love Black Manta from the first one. So
looks really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Black Manta is one of the best things about that first movie. Love it.
Yeah,
can't wait for more. We can't wait for more. Yeah, I'm excited about it too.
Black Manta from that movie combined with Black Manta from Young Justice has like really like energized the character for me.
I can see that.
And I'm just at the moment, I'm just like, I want more Black Manta in anything.
Right. Yeah, I can see that.
I'm a fan of Yaya, so I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at anything he's done, he's just blowing up. He's just skyrocketing to fame.
He's got Matrix coming, so I think his star is about to get huge.
Yeah, well, he also took center stage in Watchmen too,
which you can't talk about because Zach refuses to watch it.
Yeah,
oh, yeah. Yeah,
it's a thing that they made.
But then he was also in Candyman.
Yep, he was in Candyman too.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm surprised you mentioned that one as the one you wanted at the forefront. For me, I have 2 on that list. I just want to see what they're going to do. Actually, 3 on that list, really.
Okay. You feel like ranking them?
Huh.
Feel like ranking them?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Let's do that. Give us some time to chime in on each one, though. So, okay. So, third favorite. Go.
Of the top 3, I'm looking forward to and how they're going to do it. DC League of Super Pets. I just think it's something I didn't want, but sure. I want to see how they're going to do it, how they're going to work in, how they act, and which animals we're going to see.
Mm-hmm.
Because I, for one, want to see Dexter, but I hope they force him in some way, somehow. But I'm not surprised with the casting with Rock as Crypto and Kevin Hart as Ace.
Right. Yeah.
Next up, Batgirl, the movie, is in production, something I thought I'd never see.
Mm-hmm.
They already have the title character for that, which is Leslie Grace, who's playing Barbara Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
She's not bad if you saw In the Heights, so it's just a matter of how they're going to depict it. Ooh, darn. Well, this is tied for 2. Let me say that. This is tied for 2. Let me say 4. The one that's tied with this one is the Blue Beetle movie.
Yeah.
And both of those are HBO Max original movies.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. But we're still getting it. So
we got some art for Blue Beetle. We at least got like a concept of like what the suit's going to look like. Did they show anything for Batgirl?
No, nothing.
There's one still like far away from her, like on a gargoyle type thing. You really can't see much. But,
but it's just concept art, right?
She's going to have a cowl. That's all we know. It's
exactly.
It's going to be
cowl
the one with
cape.
the cowl and cape, not the one with the domino mask. They did say that.
Okay, good.
I like the cowl.
For Blue Beetle, we know the lead actor.
Yes. Yes.
The lead actor is Miguel from Cobra Kai.
Yes. Yes.
Hold on, I have his name. Xolo is his first name.
He's great.
Now, I've never seen Cobra Kai, but my brother has told me of how good of a role he plays in that.
He's great. He's very good in Cobra Kai. I can't wait to see him as Jaime. That'd be awesome. He should be really, really good.
And they were pumped to do it. The enthusiasm that the writer and the director had on that was amazing, I believe.
The Blue Beetle is starring Xolo Maridueña is the guy, and a lot of people know him as Miguel from Cobra Kai, as we said. Director on that is Angel Manuel Soto, and written by Gareth Dunnett Alcocer. And they were super excited. If you saw this segment on it, they were super excited about working on this.
I liked in the art that you saw like a sign for Cord Industries. In the background, which I thought was cool too. And so it does make me go like, are we going to get a Ted Cord like mentor deal? You know. So no, I'm excited. This is I did not expect there to be any Blue Beetle announcement.
I agree
for anything, but it was cool. It was nice surprise.
And then the number one, that I had no information on, and they gave even less information, is the Static movie.
Right.
And all I know is that Michael B. Jordan's production company is a part of it.
Right.
So it's no telling that what his role is going to be, if he's going to be a part of the movie or not, or who they've picked. But the fact that they're making it says a lot in itself.
Yeah.
It's about time.
Can't wait.
And it's they did announce the screenwriter who's working on the script now is Randy McKinnon, who's worked on some TV shows, Chambers and Grand Army.
Can't wait.
Yep.
Yeah. Said this one before, multiple past episodes. World's gonna fall in love with Static again.
Right.
Just make it.
Yeah.
Just make it. Put it out there. You have no idea how big this character is gonna get.
Yep. One thing they pointed out that I didn't remember when they were talking about Aquaman is that Aquaman is the highest grossing DC movie of all time.
Really?
Aquaman 1, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I forgot about that too.
I did look it up. Worldwide gross, it's like 1.14 billion, and that is the most money any DC movie has ever made worldwide.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Wonder Woman did better in US than Aquaman did, but did not make as much worldwide as Aquaman did.
Huh.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's a huge audience out there waiting for Aquaman 2.
Yep.
Who would have thought it didn't have it didn't have a bat or super in it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because like the Nolan Batman movies broke $1 billion, two of the latter two, Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, but just broke it and didn't make it quite as high as Aquaman.
Wow.
So I thought that was an interesting point. I was like, really? And then I looked and yep, they were right.
Aquaman.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other ones like they covered Shazam: Fury of the Gods, which like I'm ready for. I liked the first Shazam. I thought it was fun.
This is what surprised me too, because Tommy, I thought you were going to say something that had like a trailer or a clip aside to it. Like I was surprised by your picks.
Oh no, I went with picks that I didn't think would get made.
Okay.
So them telling me they're greenlighted and they're putting production behind it says a lot than what they usually do, in which they announce titles, but there are no thought or just formation of what we're going to see. Like Shazam: Fury of the Gods, it didn't surprise me. We as soon as they announced Robert Pattinson's Batman, that doesn't surprise me. It's just a matter of when they're putting it out, But the ones that I picked, I didn't.
Shazam surprised me.
You did.
Shazam 2 surprises me, even though I mean it's not a movie that doesn't it doesn't get talked about as much outside of this group. Like I love the first Shazam movie. I really, really enjoyed it, but it was like I was so afraid that was a situation of like, is that going to be a one and done and we're not going to get a sequel?
Right.
Like to me, I figured we're going to eventually get another Harley Quinn movie. Just with sequels. I thought Shazam was equally as nice. And the fact that they put more stars in it, like Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu, didn't come as a surprise because we always get bigger than the first when you talk about a sequel. So I felt that it was going to hit that mark in which we're going to see it happen. But the ones that I picked earlier, I didn't ever think we would ever get a movie in this day and age, or within the next maybe 3 years ever. That's all. I'm still floored by Aquaman being the number one grossing movie in DC. Right? Like, what? How many? There's 7 Batman movies.
Yep.
7 Superman movies, maybe, and none of them come close to Aquaman. Wow. Yeah.
So, what did you like about Shazam, Clifton?
I was just excited to see that they're coming back. Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, it wasn't the first one by many standards was not a huge hit. But I think they understood that going in. It was just, I mean, I'd kind of compare it to like Marvel and Ant-Man. Like they had realistic expectations where that movie's only going to be so big. Right. And you just have to kind of recalibrate what success means and realize that, like both of them, like Ant-Man and Marvel, but now back to Shazam, like there's a place for that in their universe of movies. 'Cause their movies are dark, man. Like it's nice to see some like young joy thrown in there. And like, even if it doesn't make as much, like they know that it's still valuable. They know it's still valuable for their moviescape in there. And so, I mean, I'm excited to see what they're doing with it now. Because a lot of the heroes that were in that one, we only got to see at the end. And now this movie will be about like, how does the family all, navigate the powers together,
right? Which
we only saw them just get at the end of the first movie. And I think that'll be really interesting, just for more of a family take on it.
I'm very curious, and it's hard. I mean, like I hope DC's ready for this. They must be, but it's hard for me knowing that we're getting Shazam 2 and that Black Adam is coming. That like I'm hoping that they're going to talk to each other in some way,
right?
Right, and it's like, and it's just funny because I feel like DC has kind of gotten away from like really, really overtly getting into that like Marvel shared universe kind of thing. And it just sort of like, everything that they've done over the past couple of years is just kind of, everything is like kind of in a different pool always.
And it's honestly been fine for the most part for them. Like I've applauded them for that for the most part. But there is like, if you have Shazam and you have a Black Adam, like those need to collide.
Sure. Well, I mean, I took it from watching the Black Adam trailer. I took it more along the lines of it happens concurrently with what's going on, probably in the second one,
right?
And the idea being that as Black Adam is Black Adam, and clearly doesn't shy away from being awful. That's sooner or later they're going to have to like you said, they're going to have to collide. I think that's one of the things where knowing that Billy, I think. Even with the upping the scale of the second one, I think with the sequel, that it's still going to be a situation where it's still going to be kind of goofy and lighthearted like the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the first one had its moments were pretty heavy. There's some emotional stuff in it.
For sure.
But I think it was one of those things where, I think once once Teth Adam finds out that there's someone else who's, the chosen one to be Shazam.
Right. A new champion.
Right. Yeah. There's only one way that's going to go. So yeah, I look forward to that as well. So
yeah, it was neat. It was neat to finally see something for Black Adam.
Oh yeah. Looked cool.
I think, got a decent glimpse of the costume and stuff like that. And what I presume to be the film's tone a little bit. Like, yeah, I like that they're not shying away from the fact. I was nervous with The Rock playing him in the lead role in his own movie. I was really, really nervous that we were going to get like Black Adam turning babyface. And I like that he's still going to have some edge to him. And, that they're not completely like sanding down all of his edges,
Sure. As they shouldn't.
For me, it's for the collision between the two. I think it's going to be interesting if they collide, only because the tone is so different from both of them.
Yep.
Like that teaser is rated R material or just touching upon it.
I mean, it will be a PG-13 movie, but
yeah, but just the little bit we got, I was like, oh, okay, that's very violent, but sure.
But I think the idea of it, the idea that you see Black Adam roll out and it's, he's everything Black Adam's supposed to be, I think that idea, that having that dread of what could possibly happen to the Marvel family, quote unquote, I think that's a good thing. I do.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
And it does appear to be like I'm super jazzed about Black Adam, more than I ever thought I would be. Like the fact that it does appear to be doing some work too, where we are getting Atom Smasher and Dr. Fate, and like, man, I'm so excited for Hawkman. So excited to see Hawkman on the screen. Like I can't get over that too. We're we are finally getting some of like the deep DC lore put onto the screen. Right.
Yeah, they definitely went with Justice Society members.
Yeah.
Which surprised me.
What'd you guys think of what we saw for Flash?
It's very dark.
Extremely dark.
Yeah, it was.
Which again, I was like you can get away from that style, especially for Flash, but
absolutely.
But we'll see. I mean, we saw the back of, I assume, Michael Keaton.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think my only thing was I need an explanation as to how the very somewhat grounded 89 Batman knows about the multiverse.
Right.
That was my thing. I thought it was kind of odd. Why?
It's a jump.
Yeah, it is.
It's a big jump.
Why he wouldn't go to Ben Affleck?
Right.
Not to spoil anything that anyone who hasn't seen the CW Crisis, but that Flash knows about stuff.
Right.
So it's one of those things of I just think it's odd that Keaton's the one that is going to be the magic bat.
Yeah.
To explain how the world and the multiverse works, because that's not his thing.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no, but I
no, that's a good thing to point out.
I think
that is a good thing to point out, because I do think it's fan service a lot that's like driving it so much, where and it's just sort of a little bit that I mean, really, if you're thinking about Batman 89, it's like where does this intersect at all?
Tom, what were you say?
I think he's the draw. I don't think
of course. Oh, absolutely.
No, what I mean by that, I don't think he's the explanation. I think there's more surprises that they're not telling. I think we're seeing a magic show, basically. I think this is the hand waving that we're supposed to watch. But I think there's more going on than just having Michael Keaton have his appearance in it. That's just my assumption towards the whole thing as a whole.
Right.
As much as I want him to be the focal point, or at least a large portion of the Flash, I think I think he's what's going to draw us to go, as opposed to what the movie could be truly about.
Right. No, I think so too.
That's the thing.
It's just the voiceover is the thing that tripped me up on it. I'm like, no, I don't. Again, going back to the crisis that we've seen, they touch upon 89.
Yes, they do.
89 is referenced. So it's one of those things of, I mean, I don't know if they're going to play off of that or not, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that he's in it and that's cool, but what we saw, I think, was so Batman heavy. We're like the two like hell yeah moments is the cowl and the Batmobile that's under the tarp that we don't see. Right. But it's like, I mean, they're two Batman moments, and it's like, that
better be the Tim Burton Batmobile.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it's so a little bit like kind of glossing over the fact that, like, there's two Ezra Millers in what we saw. Right. And they draw like no attention to it. Like the guy playing the Flash is in there twice.
And a girl Superman behind him. Like like a girl with a super symbol on her shirt behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know if we need, I don't know the idea of having 3 entrance characters into the multiverse for the movies is the best way to go. I mean, that's the other thing I thought about too. I was like, well, do we need more than one? Because everything I saw was like the idea they're teasing multiple Barry Allens, and I'm like, do you really need multiple Barry Allens to sell the multiverse?
Right.
No.
Right.
So
at least they changed that stupid Flash costume from the Justice League movies, though. I am all for that. Yeah. That is an improvement, and I'm excited at least for that they updated that. So, all right, so let's start closing out on we got a second trailer for The Batman, which like, watching this one, I realize now that this release is a lot closer than I thought it was.
March.
I still had it peppered in my head from when we got the trailer at last DC Fandome, and we were like, like, you just started filming this movie and there's a trailer already? Like, now it's like, oh, it's coming out in March. Yeah. Wow, that's soon.
They had filmed like 10 minutes worth of film and gave us a teaser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one was a teaser made out of 100% of the film.
Yeah.
Presumably.
Right. I like New Yorker Penguin.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah. I like the Penguin's a Scorsese character, basically.
Well, I mean, did we get the rumors about a Penguin spinoff or something?
Yeah.
At one point,
I thought there was at one point.
If that's the Penguin we're getting, I'm all for it. I want more of that Penguin right now. But he's great,
right?
But I know I definitely got from the trailer alone. I liked that. I thought he was awesome. I got the Tom King vibes for the whole Bat-Cat stuff. Like that seemed very much like
did you?
Oh, very much so. Yeah, that seemed very much out of the Tom King run of Batman stuff.
Interesting.
Granted,
I didn't get that at all.
Granted, it's something that it's obviously it's been around forever, but it's definitely when you see like the Tom King flashbacks to, when he does the whole thing of like showing you what their earliest days were like for the two of them. It seemed very reminiscent of a lot of that stuff. And he even pointed out, I think, either on Twitter or Facebook or someplace that he's like, yep, it seemed, basically it looks that, Michael or Mikkel Janin, the artist, he's like, some of that stuff looked like it was straight from his work. So I'm excited for it.
Oh, wow. No kidding. I missed it. I missed it completely.
I'm still not sold on Hannibal Nigma. The Zodiac Riddler, I'm still kind of on a fence because I don't really think it's necessary, but we'll see how it plays out. Everything else about the trailer I thought was awesome. I really loved it. I thought it was really, really good. But that's my still, my hang up with it is just the and then Circus. That was the other thing. I thought Circus's couple lines and moments were pretty cool too as Alfred.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then a quick side note. Tommy, have you seen the action figures for McFarlane for the Batman?
Oh, yeah. I didn't know if I was going to bring that up or not, but yeah, I definitely seen the action figures for that. Why did they? Yes, I have. Yes.
My only question was: is he holding a spatula?
I thought it was roll of tape.
Because it looks.
I don't know what that is.
One of the shots I saw, it looks like clearly like the Riddler's holding a spatula. I don't know if he is. I don't know if you've ever seen Stripes, if he's giving someone the Aunt Jemima treatment. I don't really know.
Wow. I thought it was a roll of tape. like duct tape, and it made less sense. I think the spatula makes more sense, but I was like, why did you put out the imagery before that movie dropped?
Sure, I know, I agree. Some of those, it's highly spoilerish of what it looks like. So
extremely, because they don't even you don't get a glimpse of him in the trailers.
No, I know, I agree. So.
Yeah, the one like quick shot of him you get where like he's on, like you see, I guess what we're presuming is what he looks like on a screen. Mm-hmm. It's creepy though. Like I think, like, I mean, if that's what they're going for, it works. It works. I mean, yeah, you can argue whether or not that's the direction you need to go in for the Riddler, but you know, if you're you know, making that decision. Mm-hmm. Like, bravo, well done. Like, you know.
Yeah. Well, I feel that they went that decision because you got to make him menacing. They're wrong. I love the classic look, but it doesn't fill me with dread and horror, you know, when seeing him in the bowler hat, you know?
Yeah.
In any incarnation. So I get why they made the change to him, but I'm not sold on the imagery, but I'm sold on the machinations, for lack of a better term. Of what he's trying to create within the city.
Everything looks so filthy.
Oh, extremely. Extremely.
Like, it looks so dirty.
Extremely.
I think one of the things that makes me go a little like, okay, that's a bit much, is we see Batman like take a lot of bullets.
Yeah, there's that too.
And he's fine.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and that's the one thing that I have. I'm like, this kind of defeats the purpose a little bit. Like if he's taking a bullet to the chest, point blank, and he's not even going down,
he takes more than that.
Yeah, he takes a clip.
Like,
yes,
it kind of defeats the purpose of he's just a normal guy that everybody likes to quote.
Right. No, there's no
when they're talking about what makes Batman cool.
There should be no thug with a wrench taking out this Batman. Never.
No,
but that's but to me, what I think he's trying to come across is that rage in him. Now, mind you, I agree with his with the depiction of what you're saying with his vulnerability, but I think in those short bursts, we're trying to see that he's pushing past the pain he's getting as a result of being reckless, and I want to see to the extent of what it causes him. I'm not saying to me, it's making people believe that he could be Superman, which he's clearly not. And there's nobody that can take like a barrage of bullets. I don't care how much Kevlar you think you put on your body.
Right.
But I think it's to establish that despite the pain he's receiving, if they got the wrench, that he wouldn't go out. But after it's said and done, they're like, dude, you can't go out like that. You got a concussion of grave, of dire circumstances or the fact of,
your sternum is broken from the bullets you took to the chest.
Yes, and it's after the adrenaline rush of thinking that he could just press on regardless of how much excruciatingly pain he's receiving as a result of what he's recklessly doing. So I get what they're trying to do. It's just the badassery that they're trying to provoke from the imagery, I think.
Yeah. I think, but that said, though, I think Pattinson's going to be awesome. I think Robert Pattinson's going to be so good. Yeah. So yeah, and but it'll be here before we know it too. So that's awesome. So all right, so we're gonna close it out with that. So guys, let us know what you thought about DC Fandome. What was your favorite announcement? What was your favorite trailer? We're gonna post all of those trailers and clips and art on letmeknowhowitis.com for you guys to check out. Please, however you find us, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a review. And we will see you guys next week. Have a good one.